5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in. You're tuned into the God Stories Radio Podcast. www.godstoriesradio.com.
Session 61 of God Stories Radio. I'm Fritz.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Trish.
We got a whale of a show tonight.
Yes, we do.
I got some really...
This is part two.
Part two of Session 60.
Correct.
Which just blew my doors off.
Through a bone and also got some encouragement through it itself. So
I don't think the hair's ever laid down off my arm since that testimony.
No, they're still standing.
The testimony of testimonies. I mean... her telling the testimonies of the things, just the power of God and how he shows up. And I'm not really jealous, but I am eager to see that kind of power in my own life. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to be this mamby-pamby Christian, you know, that just trots around. Ooh, bless me, bless me. I want to... I'll pray for you. Right. Exactly. Like that gets anything done. You know, I was really inspired by what she had to say.
Absolutely.
Amazing, amazing. So how's your week been, Mike?
Riding a wave. You know,
yeah.
I wasn't even supposed to be here tonight.
That's true.
I was going to let it fly. You know, okay, maybe I wasn't supposed to be here. And I spoke to the manager about 5 days ago and mentioned to him that, you know, you scheduled me on Thursday night and that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
I know. That work thing's so demonic.
I know. And I got a sense that, you know, okay, I should shut up right now. So I did. And I said, okay, that's it. I'll just let it ride. And at 10:20 this morning, I got called. And he says, okay, the schedule I scheduled for, you want to get those hours in now? I said, okay, I'll be there at noontime. And I was supposed to be here, that's for sure.
It's funny that you would say that because Joanna said something about that last week in her testimony where the guy was coming at her with the nightstick and the billy club and he was threatening to harm her and she wouldn't open her mouth.
Right.
And she said when you open your mouth, then it's you speaking.
Of the flesh.
And then of the flesh. Right, and that's really neat that your story this week is similar to that. Like if you would have said something, you would have blown it.
Mm-hmm. Very possible.
Kind of thing.
I sensed it too. I mean, it was.
I tell you, her testimony opened my eyes to a lot of things.
It did.
I'm looking and seeking. So, Trish, what's going on over there?
Oh, I wanted to send some shout-outs.
Please do.
Well, today we're going to go straight to the U.S. of A.
All right.
We want to send a shout-out to Ohio and to Washington State. We also have some listeners that have liked us on Facebook, Lucia Louvre and Brianne Hamilton. Thanks for listening, guys.
I know Brianne, and thank you, Brianne, for all your support.
Yeah, and if you want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email to godstoriesradio@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on Facebook, it's God Stories Radio, and on Twitter, it's @GodStoriesRadio.
You can tweet us.
Tweet us. Twit.
And we also have a donate button.
Yes, we do.
We've been praying for a home for GSR because we know it's a need coming up very soon, sooner than we think probably. So
like weeks away that we
very possible. So help pray with us for GSR. We need a home.
Yes, we do. And we're also believing for the finances to become a 501c3, which is going to take about, $850 or so?
Yeah. $850 in, $850 out, isn't it?
Yes.
No, I was going to do it. ourselves. If we do it ourselves.
Oh, okay. So only the one $850. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
filing fees.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to practice my hand at that whole legal thing, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, we also want to say hello to our friends in Saskatchewan, Canada, North Carolina, and British Columbia, Canada. We've got a lot of listeners in Canada. We don't want to leave them out, even though that we're recognizing the States. We love you folks in Canada, and we appreciate your support and for listening to God Stories Radio.
Yes.
Fantastic. So, Trish, why don't you introduce our very special guest tonight?
Sure thing. I was, I told my husband, I said, of all the times for me to miss God Stories Radio, I cannot miss it tonight. Because the topic that we have is not exactly the most comfortable topic for, I guess, I didn't want Mike and Fritz to be the ones here without me here. If that
what are you
makes
saying?
sense.
And it was almost going to be Fritz.
It was like, it was almost going to be just Fritz.
Awkward.
Hey. We have two young ladies here with us tonight. We have Christy and Sheila. Sheila is a former prostitute, and Christy has ministry. It's called the Glass Slipper Project. Her ministry is to help take these women off the streets, get them in gainful employment. If their children have been taken away, help them get their children back. It's a year-long program, and she'll tell you more about it. With that, I'll give you Christy.
Hi, Christy. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. Well, like Trish was saying, the ministry is the Glass Slippers Project. And I guess I can, if you listened last week, you heard my mother give a few of her testimonies, and that is the house that I grew up in. So I got to see a lot of miracles and stuff all of my life. And
I would say.
Yeah. When I was 15, she ran the homeless shelter for the battered women and the prostitutes that she took off the street. It was very exciting, kind of like Christmas. We would come home and, wonder who's new in the house. Do they have kids for us to play with? And so it was very interesting growing up, that atmosphere. It taught me a lot how to be, selfless, and always look out for others, because no matter how bad you think you have it, there's always someone that has it worse. That formed a passion in me to want to help others. This ministry really hits home with me because I have a sister that was a former prostitute.
I knew one of your mother's kids. So I just had the wrong daughter. That's all. See, there you go, guys.
Yeah, my
I've
other
been
sister.
Vindicated.
She was a former prostitute. She's doing well now, and so that really I guess it was it is very, very close to home. It's at the same time very discouraging. My mother's doing ministry, and then at the same time, it's her own daughter that really needs to be ministered to. And so it really hit home for us. And to me, it gives us that breaking edge that other ministries don't have. It's one thing to minister, to go on the streets and do your good deed, and and pass out food, and and talk to the girls and try to get them help, and that's good. But when you can stand there in front of them and look at them and say, look, I've been there. I know what you're doing. I know how it's going to turn out. I know how your family feels. I know what you're doing to yourself. It really gives you that connection that you need to be able to go the extra mile to help them. And so they really respect that, and they look for that, and it gives them, that extra sheet of comfort that other people don't have when they step foot to them.
Right. They know that
Yes.
their pain.
Yes.
You know their pain.
Yes, from all sides. From the sister, that's dealing with her sister is a prostitute and into drugs and and stuff like that, and then to see the hurt that it's caused our family and the shame, and and then to see how she's destroyed herself and and stuff. So yeah, it really helps.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I like too, that your mom had told me, that you guys minister to the whole family. It's not just we're just going to pluck that prostitute off the street, but you reunite the entire family.
That's right. So I've been very, very passionate about street ministry for a while. I, like I grew up in a Christian home for most of my life, and my mother's done street ministry for years and years, homeless ministry as well. And every Sunday she used to drag us like 2 hours to a different city to go and do street ministry and homeless ministry. So we got to see a lot there. And this church we went to in Savannah, Georgia, used to bus them in to feed them, and they would give them showers, let them take showers and a hot meal and stuff. And it was very nice. It was very humbling to be able to see that as a child and, know that, hey, there's kids here. It really could be me.
You guys came from Georgia. How did that come about?
My mother's been here for about 2.5 years. I am from Georgia, from Jessup originally, moved here from Brunswick, Georgia in July. I was very comfortable there. I owned a business. I had a bakery, owned my own business for 5 years. Lived very, very comfortable.
You used a word that you shouldn't be using. Yeah. Being comfortable.
Being comfortable. That's right. So my mother, she would come up. I was going through a really rough time with my daughter's father, and, we were about to split, and she was like, why don't you come down, and come and help me? And I was like, in Orlando? No, thank you. Hadn't lost anything there, and didn't want to come. And so for about several months, she kept, every time I seen her, Chrissy, why don't you come? No, Mom, I'm not coming. I don't want to go there. Well, why don't you just pray about it? Why don't you pray about it? No, I don't want to pray about it because I don't want to go. Finally, she wore me down, and I was like, well, you know what? I'll pray about it. And I really prayed about it, and I said, I'll do, whatever the Lord wants me to do. That's what I want to do. I want to do whatever the Lord wants me to do. I prayed about it and was going through a really, really rough time in my relationship and stuff, and had just split from my daughter's father, and decided that, what, I'm going to give it my all, no matter where it is. So I prayed, and I prayed about it, and for about 8 months I prayed. I told the Lord, and my prayer really was because, I really did not want, my dad's ill, and I didn't want to leave from around my dad. I prayed, and I was like, Lord, I want, my heart, I want to do ministry. That's where my heart is. I want to do what you've called me to do. Bless me here, and I know that wherever I go, you'll bless me there. Mm-hmm. But if you want me to go to Orlando, Lord, you're going to have to make it happen. Because I don't want to go. But I promise you that whatever you say and whatever you want me to do, whatever door you open, that's the door I'll walk through. Like I think Mike was saying, or Fritz last week was saying, don't make promises to God that you're not willing to keep. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't. And so for, 8 months I prayed that prayer, and I was like, well, that should keep him busy for a while because I don't want to go. So about 8 months later, my mother, I prayed, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, then you're going to have to make it happen. You're going to have to line up everything for me to move, and it not cost me a dime. Not gas down there, not the U-Haul, not the place, nothing. You are going to have to bless me down there and put me down there, because other than that, I'm not going because I don't want to go. That's what happened. And about 8 months later, the Lord blessed us with every dime that we needed to move to Orlando from Brunswick. I didn't pay for the gas, didn't pay for the house, didn't pay for no deposits, didn't pay for a dime. And I was at all. I was like, what? So clearly I know I'm supposed to be here. And so, and it's been...
That's called confirmation.
That's right. And it's been... I've talking to Trish several times over the phone, and it's not been an easy road since I've been here.
It's hard to relocate to Florida. It is. It really is. And so I kept telling her, I'm like, it's not you, girl. It's not an easy task.
It's been very, very challenging, and not literally to the point not knowing where your next meal is coming from. Mm-hmm. That challenging. And it's all to do ministry, to do God's work. And, and the thing is, I heard somebody say one time that you can tell how big your blessing is by how much Satan is attacking you. All I know is he has a huge blessing out for us. So, because it's been a real challenge, but it's been a real faith builder. So I've seen so much since I've been here. I have seen God work